All right, we should be back. That was crazy. We haven't had that kind of experience before, and so we're going to see where we're at. Steven, you there?
I am.
Yeah, I think we can hear you this time. So.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
you guys do good work.
Well, I mean, we got Tom Baker with us, so he's doing really
good. Oh, John for you.
You in the audience, can you hear Steven? That would be great. Steven, say something.
Does it need to be like
something profound?
Really profound.
Yeah. Profound, real valuable to leave the audience with tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something
very tangible, very something we can kind of hang on to.
Turning us down a little bit. Jamie Williams is helping us here a little bit. He's going to get paid for this, but says a lot of feedback. So, is that better, Williams? I mean, this is what happens when you have a local TV station.
You know,
so.
This is the part about being live. You know, anything.
It's about being live, right? Yep. So, Ray, I don't know where we're at. Okay, Williams is saying that sounds good. So, hey, we are back. So we were talking about the district game. You and I drove to Mack County, and what a blessing. I mean, truly, when I say that, what a blessing of a game that was.
It was. I mean, and it was. You sure got your money's worth.
You did.
I mean, I can't say enough, not knowing, if you were going to holler at me tonight, but I said to myself, if we do, I'm going to keep it all positive. And, but man, that was a great game.
It was.
It was great. And the girls played their hearts out, and have nothing to hang their head about.
No, and you and I, and I'll get to this in a little bit, but you and I hung out till the girls came out of the locker room, and I'm so glad we did. But, of course, you had Kibby come out, and you talked about it. She hit that right before the half, she hit that 3-point attempt from way out. That was her second week in a row. You had Williams down low doing her thing. I mean, she's a beast, rebounding. She's, putting it in the basket. But Kiera Clark came out strong in that first half.
Picked up right where she left off from the previous game. We were talking about that. And really, her last 3 games she was rock solid.
Yeah, she was. And, we talked about that. Like when she gets open or when she makes things happen, that takes the pressure off Kibby and Lauren. Because, I mean, going into that, you're like, okay, we've got to stop Kibby, we've got to stop Lauren. And I think all the girls really did a really good job of contributing, and that did take pressure off of Williams and Kibby.
Yes, and I think probably some teams were like, where'd this girl come from?
Yeah.
Because we didn't – we knew she was there, but we didn't know that she was going to – take control of the game.
Yep. So
like she did.
And you give me a hard time. When we were done with that game, were you not a little emotional? Be honest.
as far as breaking down, you hate it so much. I wasn't on the verge of breaking down. I tell you what, I was really worried about. I thought we were going to have to go tackle Nelson Kibby.
Yes, yeah.
The game was over,
and I love that. Here's the thing. In the end of the game, if you didn't see it, whether you saw it or not, I'm going to tell you. I mean, from a long-term fan to, I don't think we're impartial in this, but she got fouled like 4 or 5 times, and,
right. And
never
running out. I mean, I get it. They're not wanting to blow the whistle, but we said it when her body gets turned sideways one direction and then she's still dribbling and it gets turned sideways the other direction because people are whacking and hacking and pushing, you got to call a foul.
Have you ever been in one of those games?
That's what I was just thinking. As a coach, when you're telling the players in this situation, you don't you prep everybody, hey, there's going to be fouls, there's going to be lots of contact. You got to play through it. Don't expect to get anything. And you just don't expect anything. because they're just probably not going to buzz. You're not going to get a whistle. So
Yeah.
more than likely, but it's just a tough. That's when the big players shine. In those big moments, you're just going to have to expect it and play on. It's going to happen on either side.
Camera just went out, but we're fixing it. There we go.
So what are they? So what on the next one? What are we looking at?
We're done. We're done. Girls are done. We were playing for district championship. It was a great game.
Yeah,
I mean, Matt County came out. I thought they came out on as much on fire as we did. It was a great game, and we can, we can go back and forth and say, they fouled us, we fouled them. Great game. I do think. I mean, I'm going to say this because I'm not doing the play-by-play at this point. Kibby should have been fouled. I mean, she should have went to the free throw line at that point. But those girls coming out with their heads hung low, I wanted to tell each and every one of them, pick your heads up. And I think we did. Pick your heads up. We've got next year. And I know that we've got 3 seniors. But here's the deal. Is you guys have went through a season that was unprecedented. 28 days of quarantine. Your first regular season game in mid-January, and you guys are playing for a district championship. You can go ahead.
About the word historic.
Historic, yeah.
You'll never. I hope anyway that you'll never see this again.
Yeah, I've got to say I've never been prouder of a team to have fought and battled through what they've went through than I am our girls this year.
How many times did we say coming down the stretch, John, watch out for those girls, because you have to look and say we're 4-6 weeks. So going from that mid-January when they played their first regular season game, that we're now 6 weeks down the road and we're playing for a district championship.
Yeah. And I've got to say, we've got an exceptional coach. If you don't know him, you're going to get to know him on the girls' side. And you and I can talk a little more about girls' basketball than I can boys because we cover it. But Coach Dishman, he is 100% pure basketball. He's 100% pure win. And that's all he wants, and that's all he cares about. But at the same time, he cares about these kids.
Yeah, he does.
You could see that, and I don't know if you were standing there, John, but, when they stopped to get a bite to eat, Emma, I went over and said something to the Spurlins, happened to be there also, and I went over to tell Emma, good game. She hit a three-pointer when we needed one, a clutch shot from a freshman. She also got fouled there towards the end of that game and goes to the line and hits both free throws. Much needed. And, I wanted to go tell her, good job. And like I said, from a freshman, clutch performance. But she said one of the reasons it took them so long to get out of the locker room was Coach Dishman went around to each girl and said something about each one of them before they left the locker room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's proud of his team. You can tell that by talking to him. He's proud of it.
Well, and like you said, he normally comes up and talks to us pretty easy. You could see that he was drained after that game. And I get it. I mean, from what we've battled through this year, I'm going to tell you, LR, if you're not excited about Coach Dishman, goodness gracious, I don't know what you want, because this is going to be it's a game changer for us as a school district. So
he's going to try to build a program.
He is.
That's what my conversations with him too. He's trying to build it, so he's going to make it happen.
Well, and John, you just said he's all in. He helped with the softball team this fall, but he's told us that he plans on 100% basketball from here forward, because he's working on building this program up to a championship level program. And carry on, I forgot what I was
Hey,
he's a good guy. I mean, he's got a good pedigree. He knows how to win. He's come from programs that are very winning programs, and that's what he expects. So that's a great thing for Rogersville when you got a coach who's been winning, expecting to win. They come into this program, that's what he expects. So he knows what it takes to win. He knows what it takes to create a good team and a foundation that needs to happen, and he's going to do it. So good for Rogersville.
And we're gonna miss 100% our seniors next year, but we've got a lot of good talent coming back, folks. And
that was one thing you may have heard me say to Gracie, and I said to Emma also. You know, girls, the future is bright.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You know, I know that they want to win. I know they're upset, but look to the future because the future is bright.
I'm gonna bring up one thing, and I feel like I've got to do it, and it's a little controversial, I'm sure. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna say this because I don't think it's a bad thing. I am disappointed in our fans this year for the girls basketball team. And when I say that, I'm not saying it as a way of being negative. What I'm saying is it's a call to action. These gals have worked their tails off as much as the boys have. And when we went to Mack County the other night, you could see their fan base. And I want that for LR. I don't know how else to bring this up, but I want that for LR. And I don't know what we do to make that happen. But our girls work too hard not to have that kind of fan support.
And, guys, that's what I started to say when I said I forgot what I was going to say. It was that. We got beat Thursday night by what I'll call the sixth man. Their crowd, their fan or their student section, I would say was bigger and better than what we get to the boys' games. I mean, it was phenomenal. And they had those girls pumped up to the point where, I'll just say it, I think they were overachieving.
Yeah, I agree. Because when it came down to those last 2 minutes and it was anyone's game, that's where we needed our fans. And so.
Yep, we've got to get them out there. And, one thing we can set and ask why don't we get those out of there? And, one thing that if you took a poll, someone's going to say, well, the girls are boring. But the one thing that I'll say about the girls that I love watching is it is what I would refer to as fundamental basketball. You're screening, you're driving, you're shooting, you're making layups. And, yeah, there's no reverse behind the back dunks, but they work it in and work it around from pressing, passing, shooting. But I enjoy it.
Yeah. And Williams said, and this is true, Kibbe, Williams, and Clark, all district team. And Kibbe was the player of the year. So, and we've got all of them coming back next year. So we've got a special show coming out for girls basketball sometime next week. We've got to get with Coach Dishman and kind of work that out. But I don't want to go too much into it because you and I have talked about it and we want to have a special show for them. Boys are progressing. We're excited about them. And we've got districts Thursday. Man, I'm excited. This week is full of sports. District wrestling. I'm sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah, I've got basketball Tuesday night. You said wrestling Thursday. If the boys win, they'll have basketball again Friday there. So, busy week.
So, all right, Stephen, we appreciate you. And
thanks, Stephen.
For what you do for LR Sports.
Hey, thanks for what you do, man. I did have to drive your truck all the way to Mack County, but I mean, we won't say that.
Who bought dinner?
Yeah, and
I bought dinner.
anyone that saw Shelly and John in the seat of my pickup, I was in the back. You just couldn't see me because the windows are.
I didn't know that we needed to go there, but that's okay.
John's a good chauffeur. He's got this.
All right. See you, brother.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye. So that's always fun. I mean, high school sports. I mean, you remember that
Oh,
those times.
I mean, high school sports are the best. Playing and being part of, talking about like the involvement and people. It's going to happen. I mean, the fan base and whatever, it'll happen. It comes with winning, creating that program. Your coach is on board. You got lots of spirit here. I mean, it's going to happen. It takes some time. That doesn't happen overnight.
And you get excited. I mean, especially as the further you go, you get overly excited about your team.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. So, I mean, the further they go along and more hype, if they keep getting there and get close, it's going to bring some hype to them, and they're going to win some big games. They keep performing and working hard, they're going to get there.
It was, you do get let down though. You look at it and you say, okay, why did we lose? Why did we?
Yeah, you're analyzing and cross-analyzing and over-analyzing and analyzing. Yeah.
And I got to say, for Matt County, I mean, those girls, it was a chippy game. I mean, it was an aggressive game. I love those games. I don't like a game where the refs are saying, "Oh, that's a foul, that's a foul." Let them play a little bit, And both teams were aggressive, so that was exciting. Trying to get Rick Burney here on the phone. He said call again. So we'll see. We got an opportunity to do a 2-minute drill with Rick Burney.
Nice.
And he is the number one fan in Rogersville. I don't know how he has a voice ever, but he goes to every game. He screams. He can't make it past halftime without losing his voice. So
wow. That's impressive stat.
Let's see if we have Rick. Rick, do we have you on here?
I'm here.
How are you, man?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Your voice good? Everything good?
Yeah, polishing my motorcycle.
Sweet.
So we are at the end of basketball. Boys are advancing. Girls lost a very tough game against Matt County in the district championship. They played their hearts out. I was so proud of them coming off that game.
Yeah, me too. And I'll tell you what, man. I got 2 daughters, and they make me just as proud as my son does. And so, it has nothing to do with which gender they are. It's all about those kids trying their heart out, and I was just. I was watching the end of that game the other night, and I if I was Mr. Kibbe, I would have been doing the same thing, man.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, as a dad, Bella struck out her first batter in softball, 4th grade, and I thought I was going to tear the chains off.
Yeah.
Here we're 4th grade. Come on, dude. And I'm going to tear the chains off. We're excited about our kids. Kibbe almost made me tear up a little bit because I understand that frustration. Here's the deal, folks. I get emotional about sports and I get whatever. You want to make fun of me, that's fine. But I understand where Kibbe is, and his daughter played harder. I mean, just like she always does. And she got fouled 4 or 5 times in the last couple seconds of that. Should have went to the free throw line. Very emotional dad.
No question about it.
I 100%. I'm with you, Mr. Kibbe. I would have been right where you're at. And I was proud of you. I mean, it shows your love for not only your daughter but the team. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a great game for us.
It really was, and you guys, you and Slam and CB, I just wish I had you guys' kind of hair, and that would be nice
Me too.
especially Steven's hair. I mean, how do you look that good at 70?
Yeah, 70.
But yeah, you guys have done a phenomenal job. I just wanted to tell you, and Rich, golly, it is fun time to be part of Rogersville, and I really am looking forward to how this continues to go on and how it affects the kids, because I think it can't do anything but help And you guys are going to help fill those stands. The more you do this, the more people know about these kids and know their name. And, they're just, it's exciting times. Best is yet to come.
Well, and that's our goal. I mean, it really is, because we lost our newspaper several years ago, and we want. I don't care if you're football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, track. I don't care what sport you're in. That's what we want to showcase, is when you are giving it your all. And you don't even have to be the start of the team. That's our thing, is we want to showcase every player, that is giving their all to this community.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm just, super proud of all these kids. And I guess that's the words of wisdom that I have, is that, let's put our arm around them and hug their neck and kiss their ear and have fun with them, because won't be long they'll be gone from us, and we won't have those shocks. So
Yeah.
Sometimes these situations, which they're always tough, losing tough games, but they're kind of character builders for both the people who were there and they're going to graduate. It's a good character moment, and then the kids that were going to come back next year, they get to see this moment of, we don't want to do that again. And so maybe that gives them some motivation to go to the next year. It gives them a lot of ammunition to come back and fight even harder. So there's kind of a silver lining in it somewhere, and you kind of hope they can kind of find it. It's never easy to win those, but you got to find something and take it away. And so that's my silver lining, I guess. But
That's right. So what do you got for us tonight, Bernie?
Man, I think I just gave it to you. Hug their neck. Make sure that they know you love them, and love God and love your neighbor.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. When those girls were coming in the locker room, I don't know if you're still with us or if you hung up, but
No, I'm here.
That's what we wanted to do, because they came out and the tears were flowing. And I know Steven won't admit this, but I'll tell you, we were both. I mean, us and Shelly, who did the camera for us that night, we were all teary-eyed for him, because we know that emotion. But
Oh, absolutely.
I told each and every one of those girls, pick your chin up, because you battled. And sometimes we don't win the war, but the battle, how we perform in that battle is number one. It's the most important part. And none of them, I said us, none of them let us down. You have Emma Sperlin, freshman. She is a freshman in a district championship game, out there balling it out like she's a senior. All of them. I was so proud of them. So
Yeah. I'll give you one last little deal. You guys were around there that last game there at Hillcrest and the football team, and my son, the first thing he said to me was, "I never quit trying, Dad. I
yeah,
never quit trying." So if that's not what it's all about, I don't know what to say.
that's right.
Yeah.
Leave it all on the court, field, wherever. Just leave it there every time.
That's right. I think those girls did the same thing. I think they could look at their dad and say the same thing. So
that's right, my friend. Hey, we thank you.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon, man. You
Thank
too,
you.
brother.
Bye.
All right, bye. That's great. I mean, it's tough. I don't know what to say after that, but I do want to say one of our most important parts of this show is the Hometown Furniture Athlete of the Week. And I intentionally didn't talk about her, because I feel like we always kind of give this one away. But our Hometown Furniture Athlete of the Week is going to be Kiera Clark. Oh my gosh, if you'd have seen her in our district game, Slamma and Steven and I said, for girls basketball, we said, if you get Kiera Clark in the game, we're going to win. And she started off so strong. She played her heart out. And so we're proud and we're excited to say our Hometown Furniture Athlete of the Week is Kiera Clark.
Nice.
So she gets not only a Hometown Athlete of the Week presentation, but she also gets from our friends at Green Box Photography, she gets a sports mini session. So she can go in and take some pictures.
Good.
and do some amazing things.
Go
So,
good.
Kiera, we're excited. We're proud of you. Man, we can't wait to see what you do next year. So,
Yep. Congratulations.
we're going to move on from there. I'm going to play, let's hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself for a second. We are going to thank another sponsor that we have, and that is going to be not the. That's going to be Rogersville Pharmacy.
All right.
So, Jim is my drug dealer.
Drug dealer,
choice.
yeah.
You've heard that before.
He does a lot of for me too. Yeah. He supplies.
He supplies you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of getting that,
He's
that,
great.
BIG.
He kind of is. Yeah.
So,
yeah, he
no,
used to do a commercial.
If you don't know, and if you've not been there, go to Rogersville Pharmacy. It is a great experience. Not only do they make it fun, but they truly care about you. Jim and his staff has been friends of mine for years. So if you've not had an opportunity, go there and visit them.
If you hang out with Jim for more than 10 minutes and you're not laughing,
wait for his emails because they are quite. I mean, if you get to that friend level status, I mean, they are epic. So
he's good stuff.
He's good stuff. So, guys, go visit them. Jamie Williams says, outstanding. My old eyes, outstanding pick here, rocked it absolutely, and as did all our Lady Cats that night. So, hey, I'm going to play a short clip, and that's going to lead us into what we're talking about tonight for our topic. I've got my friend David Cucci with me.
Hello.
What we talked about him in past shows, but I'm going to just kind of reiterate real quick on him. He knows nothing about sports. He basically knows everything from PlayStation
and Google.
Yeah. No, David, you know David. David is a Missouri Sports Hall of Famer. He was a standout basketball player at Seymour and SBU. Still holds multiple records at SBU.
Played 2 sports at SBU.
Golf and basketball. He is a golf state champion from Seymour, and then moved on to SBU for golf. So
you missed some things in there I've probably written down, but that's okay, John.
I missed a lot, but man, if I read it, we would take an hour to read it because you're that kind of guy. But David and I talk a lot offline about youth sports, and so I want to open up. I want to thank my friend for coming. He's been on here a few times, and I'm going to open up with this short clip. What we're talking about tonight is coaching, youth coaching, and when we say youth, we're talking K through really
K
almost.
Through 12. We could say K through 12.
K through 12.
Coaching is coaching, but anyway, it's your show. I'm not going to hijack it.
K through 12, or I was going to even say K through senior year of college, but
it really could be, yeah.
So
I mean, coaches are coaches, so yeah.
Let me play the short clip, and then we'll get right back to you.
Let's go. It's real simple. You got 2 more quarters and that's it. Now most of you have been playing this game for 10 years. And you got 2 more quarters, and after that most of you will never play this game again as long as you live. Now you all have known me for a while, and for a long time now you've been hearing me talk about being perfect. Well, I want you to understand something. To me, being perfect is not about that scoreboard out there. It's not about winning. It's about you and your relationship to yourself and your family and your friends. Being perfect is about being able to look your friends in the eye and know that you didn't let them down because you told them the truth. And that truth is that you did everything that you could. There wasn't one more thing that you could have done. Can you live in that moment as best you can with clear eyes and love in your heart? With joy in your heart? If you can do that, gentlemen, then you're perfect. I want you to take a moment and I want you to look each other in the eyes I want you to put each other in your hearts forever, because forever is about to happen here in just a few minutes. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think about Boobie Miles, who is your brother. And he would die to be out there on that field with you tonight.
So a little bit of a long clip, but I wanted to show because that was my favorite movie, Friday Night Lights, and I thought if you could go, because tonight's topic is, what do you want in a coach? And I'm asking you because I'm excited you're on because you've had coaches at all levels, junior league to your junior high to high school to college, and I printed off that real quick, or I put that little video in there from Coach Gary Gaines from Friday Night Lights. But if you could have a coach, who would your coach be, and what characteristics of a coach do you want for your youth player? And I think it's a great topic because a lot of these parents go out there and they want their kids to do really good, but then they don't think about the question like, who is the coach and what does the coach bring to the table? So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to get this started. You and I talk about this. I mean, we could talk about this for 5 hours tonight.
Indeed.
What do you think, what do you look at in a coach?
So I'll start with this. Coaches, I guess everybody needs to understand that no two coaches are alike, right? I mean, they have different personalities and different strengths and different styles. And so you can't really compare one coach to the other. And it's not really fair to do that. And people do that all the time. Well, he's not like my last coach, or she's not as good as so-and-so, and whatever, for whatever reason, and personality stuff comes in. So that, people need to understand that you gotta kind of give some grace to people because they are different. Coaches have different styles. The big thing, I tell you this is my lead in. This is kind of my thing that I kind of would start with somebody if they ask about a coach or what kind of makes. We'll say that it's a big thing. I could make this my number one or my end one, but the big gauge is on a coach is when you have a coach that you're as a coach you're demanding 100% from your player, but that coach has to give 100% to that team. And so if you kind of have this, if you're not seeing 100% from that coach go into that team, and he's demanding, he wants 100% from his players and everybody else and the parents, but he's not giving 100%, that's the first big sign to me. So when I see somebody who's not all in, who hasn't bought in, who's not 100% to their team and to their community or whatever else, then that's kind of a big tell on what's going to happen because, I could tell stories about coaches, but you want that coach to have that buy-in too, and you know it when you got players who play for these coaches that just will go through a brick wall for them, and so there's kind of a big sign, a big tell that happens with the coaches that have that passion or have that connection with their team. That's my first big one.
So you're a coach. I mean, you coach what grade?
I have a fifth grade boys basketball team that I coach, and I have my second grader was playing on it. He's on a separate team now and plays on a third grade team. So I do try to coach my kids as much as I can, or at least involved in what they're doing. My little girl plays too. I'm not a coach or anything for that one, but
so I coach fifth grade girls, and coaching's coaching. I don't care where you're at, girls, boys, what sport. One thing I've learned in that is you almost have to coach each player individually. There are some players that you can say, to, and there's some players that you have to kind of, coach in a softer way. In your experience, where are you at with that?
Yeah, I think it's just about consistency. So I have my style, I have my shortcomings. I kind of tell the parents and the kids everything I like, what my strengths are kind of up front and how I can help them. I want to give kids and the parents a resource. I want to be the best resource. And I'll tell you this story. I got to tell you this. John Bryant, he was a tennis coach in college at SBU. I got to know John personally after school or after college was over. But John Bryant when he got into coaching, he was just a math teacher at the school, and he wanted to coach. And if you know John Bryant, if you know anything about John Bryant, he's this amazing person. He's so easy to get along with. Everybody loves John. So when he got into coaching tennis, he didn't know anything about the game. He knew absolutely nothing about tennis. And so as time went, he got better and better. But in his class, I guess tell a little bit about him as a class, the kind of person he was. He was a math teacher, so he would say, look, if you don't know the answer to the problem, I want you to own it. If you think 2 + 2 is 5, I want you to stand up with conviction and say, it's 5. I want you to own that. And he kind of always had that persona. He wanted you to be confident about it. And so his coaching legacy goes on. He won national championships. He had the best of the best in the world come play for him from overseas and wherever else. And John created this huge legacy. And is he going to be the guy to teach you how to do a nice sliding forehand or backhand? No. Can he teach you to do a drop shot? No, he's not. He knows he's not there. He owned that. But he had resources that he could teach you that. He knew how to get those people and how to get those resources to you to become a world champion player. But he didn't think that he could, because he knew he could. But his strengths were, he was there for those kids. He provided for those kids. He gave them access to the court and whatever else it was. So he was always there with those kids and helped them. And those kids loved him. I knew him. I was friends with the tennis players, and everybody loved John Bryant. And how did he get these players from all over the world to play for him? He didn't know anything about the game. It didn't matter, because he was so good at, again, providing these kids with a place to play, with the resources, with the supporting staff that they needed to flourish. And they did, and they all were amazing. They won national championship after national championship. We was to watch. I went down to Panama City during spring break and watched them. They were just, he just had this way about it.
So you, like we said, kind of talked about your achievements through, and I bring this up because I think it's an important part, not because I'm trying to brag about you. I do get into clubs. I'll be like, I know David Cucci.
Don't do that.
But you've been a good friend of mine, and honestly, I didn't know a lot of this about you before we started becoming really good friends. But I always tell people, I was like, you're a guy that I don't care what sport it is, you're a natural athlete. And so with saying that, and I bring that up because you've had a million different coaches along your life, from, I'm sure, t-ball to basketball to golf to whatever you've played. What's the number one characteristic in a coach that you've responded well to? Maybe a tough question.
That's a really tough question. That's all different coaches had so many different attributes, and I have had some coaches that were really, really quiet, and some that were very, very vocal and loud and drill sergeant-ish, and they try to control your whole world. And I've had a slew of everything, and I don't know exactly which one. It's funny, it built my character when I had that one that, let's say, is a drill sergeant-ish, where it's just tear you down to build you up, that kind of stuff. And maybe I didn't like it, but I look back on it, and it did define me some as a character. And I went through it. I had some friends that didn't quite make it through there. They didn't get to the other side as effectively as I did. So I look at that as not a positive way. I don't say it's a good thing. But this is one of the things, I guess, on the coaches that have done really good and really, really successful, another one of the attributes that you see from them is how they develop players. Yeah, this is universal, no matter what sport it is how and what are they doing to develop these kids. So, that's the ultimate goal. We're taking them from a level and improving them to a next level. And if you're going to evaluate the coach, you need to look at how they're developing these kids. And that doesn't happen at the ball game. You show up on a Friday night or a Tuesday night game or whatever it is, and you say, gosh, that coach, they made the wrong call, they're just bad, or they do whatever. You come up with all these things that they could have done, should have done. That doesn't really tell the tale for me. And I've sat in those crowds, I've been with those people, and they're like, this coach is no good, or this and that. I'm like, have you seen them in practice? Have you gone to a practice? Do you know? Well, the kid's not happy. Well, they could not be happy, but how are they structuring this practice? Like, do they have a cohesion of the kids? Are they getting better as a team? What are they working on? How are they developing these players? Or what are they talking about? And what's kind of their attitude toward the rest of the season? And so on and so on. That's the kind of stuff that you look for. It's not so much they show up to a game, they lost a game they should have won. I mean, it does happen. I don't like it any more than the next person, but does that really define the coach? No, because it happens every single day. So there's some other ways to evaluate this coaching thing, and I think that, I would definitely say that on that, don't look at just how they perform at a game and use that as the gauge of this coach is no good.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example. So many times I've been at a game, why is my kid not playing?
Yeah.
And you can ask the kids. You had a great analogy for me when I was struggling one time, and I said because I coach my own kid, and the head coach coaches her own kid, and I thought, how do you know if your kid's really good?
Yeah.
Because I am trying to see it out of a coach's perspective. But those parent eyes play a part too. We love our kids.
Yeah.
And you said one thing, and you said, have the kids divide up, or put them out there, pull two people out, and say, you're the captains, pick kids, and that will tell you where your kid's at. Coaches have such a in-depth view of where your kid is, really. And so when you go out there and you play a game, and your kid may be contributing but not playing the role you think you need to.
Right.
A lot of parents get mad. How do you deal with that as a coach?
That's a tough one. So this is man. This could be another long conversation, but we did talk about that story a little bit last time. I think it's a great way to kind of get into exploring which kids. The kids kind of know who's the best, and what have you. But if you want to make something out of these, you'll say your own kid. You got your own kids on the team and whatever else, and you're trying to figure out. Who is the best kid, or am I doing right? If you're just fair, if you come at it and you're just, as a coach anywhere, if you just look at it, blanket this thing to say, I'm going to be fair to all these kids, no matter what the situation is. I don't care whose kid it is and they mess up. Whatever happens, it's the same punishment all the way through. I'm looking for the same thing all the way through. You see a lot of situations where somebody thinks their kid should be playing more, right? I mean, that happens a lot. Everybody kind of gets that moment where they think somebody's over. Again, go back and have a conversation with that coach. Talk about it. But there's a way that this individual, this person, this kid can develop themselves. There's going to be a way that they can improve their game, whether it be, outside. It's going to be outside of that scope of the practice or those games, those set of games. But there's something they need to do. And if the coach notices that, that's what the coach needs to do. And the other side note, I guess, to this is, as a good coach, you'll kind of identify these players that are, maybe you've seen everybody as a team, maybe some kids are getting better than other ones through the course of a season. You can kind of see that, but these ones are getting left behind. They're maybe still really good players. They got some talent, they got some ability, but they're just not as good as this other, say the A team or whatever. They're kind of in the B group, but you don't want to leave them. And as a good coach, I think they kind of fall back and try to harness some of those skills that they either have or develop a little bit more of those skills that they do have to take them on, because they get missed a lot. Those kids get missed, and a good coach will kind of go back and say, I think Johnny or Sally, they're close, and so let's put a little time. Let's put them with the good team or put them with that A team. Let's mix it up a little bit, and just to see what they have. Sometimes they need challenged outside of their.
We talked about Coach Dishman. I'm going to tell this real quick because. I have a lot more insight to him. Slam and Stevie and I covered the girls' basketball games, and so of course we get done with the broadcast and we talk a lot, And there's been times where, and this is going with just what you said. Coach Dishman has said, "I'm looking at this player and I think they're going to be great," and I'm looking at him thinking, like, what the crud are you talking about? I mean, that player's horrible.
Literally the diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and he's like, I see something in her. And that's what I thought about that the other day because he was talking about a kid, and I'm like, what are you looking at? I love that he sees that in her. Because I think a lot of times coaches get pressured by, in fifth grade I was doing this. Or, mom and dad are, they think I'm this good. Mm-hmm. I love that Coach Dishman, and I say this, and Coach Schaefer, I'm sure, is the exact same way. I just don't work with him as much. But Coach Dishman, in my opinion, he is looking and he is saying, man, I see that girl, and she's going to be good. Where I'm saying, what are you looking at? You know?
Well, ask any high school coach, anyone, or even younger, it doesn't matter, but ask high school coach and say, what would you rather have? 5 prima donnas on your team that are unbelievable athletes, or the next tier down of 5 players who work their tail off, never argue, first one in the gym, last one in the gym. And they go, well, you got these supreme athletes versus these next level, mid-level athletes who just work their tails off, who never give up, who go through a brick wall for you, and vice versa.
Yep.
What would you? And they'll always, every single time, those coaches will say, "I'll take these hardworking kids because they're pliable. I can make something out of them. They're going to listen. They're going to do whatever it takes every single time. They're going to win more games than they should, and you'll have a lot more fun doing it. And those kids will get further every single time. They're guaranteed. Yeah, you may have some superstars, sure, but they're not, as a team, as a unit, every single time they'll take that. So now relate that back to, well, if my kid, now just for me, just whoever this is listening and thinking about it, my kid, what can I do to put my kid in that? So if they're just a yes sir, yes ma'am kind of kid, they're working really, really hard, they're in the gym, they don't ask questions, they just do what's asked of them. Always, they're just doing the best, the most out of every single situation. That is going to pay so much dividends long term for them.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that was my next question is, you as a coach, what are you looking for? And to me, it seems like you're saying, I'm looking for the kid that's going to, I say this, and whether they succeed or not, they're give 100% trying to get there.
Yeah, and I kind of test my kids too. You know, I'm not really a rah-rah, but I like energy. I like exciting. I want to make it happen. I want you to get up for the game, and I want that. So I've tested my kids a lot. They'll be in a game, and you probably see it in movies, clips, or whatever else, but I don't really go that far. But it's like, you know, I'll almost exaggerate something. They'll come in the halftime, I'm like, that was terrible. We were down by 2 points, or we're up by 10 or whatever. And I'm like, that was a horrible half. That was unbelievable. We did this. I can't believe you guys, da-da-da. And I'm kind of reaming them all out, right? And I'm just seeing how they respond to it. Like, it was just kind of a test. Because I look over there and I'm like, I don't even know what I was talking about. Yeah. Then they kick them back out, and I just want to see if they respond and see, kind of watching individually how they respond. You know, like we weren't boxing out. I'm picking out some little things, and that was terrible, this and that, just to see their response, to see if they just fold up or see if they take it as a challenge and like, he wants me to do more. And I just had it this last week. You know, we played a game, we were tired, we had another game following up, and I tested them. I was like, you guys aren't giving me 100%, and I rambled on. And I knew it was going to be a hard game for us anyway, but I wanted us just to see the response. I wanted them to be challenged, not to go, I know you guys played a game and you're tired, and golly shucks. I just not that guy. I'm pushing them as hard as I can, and I'm still cheering them on, but I'm pushing them to that limit. Whatever that limit is, I'm going to push it. And that's my style. But I think for kids, they need to constantly be pushed a little bit, you know.
You and I have talked about it a million times, and I'll kind of wrap up with this. Sports is a metaphor for life,
Indeed.
You know. And when you're pushing them as a coach, you answer this, but I don't think you're pushing them. You're thinking, Johnny, if you want to get to the NBA, you've got to be this.
Right.
Or, you know, even your own kids. I think as coaches, and I'm saying this because I coach too, is I'm pushing them because sports is a metaphor for life. How many times has your boss pushed you, or my boss has pushed me, or said, we need this done, and you're stressed, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to give everything to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where my question was in that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so we're trying to put, as parents now, and as coaches, you're just trying to put good people back into society. I mean, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to put, you know, your offspring, you want them to be good, productive citizens of the world. And that's what we're shooting for. I mean, we want good people back out there. We want good, hardworking people, and they grow good families, and repeat. You know, we want our legacy to be a good legacy. And how do we do that? So just kind of like what you said, I mean, we got to, these things, it's a metaphor in life because, you know, I'm a business owner, you are too. I don't need anybody to tell me to get out of bed in the morning, and I never have. And so I was the guy that was 7 o'clock in the gym every morning. I didn't need somebody to tell me to get out of bed. I had that, and I still have that. So if you're wanting to build that into somebody, that's where at a young age you got to give them some work ethic. You got to show them responsibility. They got to take ownership of it. And in the long term, it's going to pay off. We know it's going to pay off because, you know, there's lots of us around that will say that, you know, where else can you teach this kind of teamwork? Yeah. And I mean, there's so many things that you're going to learn from sports. So whether they're the best on the team or they're never play and they're still on the team, they're learning a lot about
And
life.
what some people don't realize, and because we all typically come from these traditional families of mom, dad, everybody's there, sometimes coach is the only one those kids have.
True.
You know, and I've seen it a million times. Even sometimes in my own life, coach is the one that's like, I know what you're going through. I'm still asking this of you because I know you can do it.
Yeah.
And so you have those bonds with the coach, almost to some degree like a paternal bond for a lot of kids.
Well, I can relate it to. And I wasn't ever in the military. You were. You played. You were in sports, and you played in the military.
Played G.I. Joe.
You played G.I. Joe, G.I. Jane sometimes maybe.
G.I. Jane. Wow.
No, but I mean it's like that brotherhood,
It is.
right? I mean you're kind of you're all battling when you're playing in sports and you have preseason stuff and you're just all year you're fighting with somebody. You have a brotherhood, whether you really already like that person or not, right? You have this brotherhood, and the coaches have that connection. Everybody has that same connection, so that's part of what the coaches, and the coaches know that, and they need to keep that responsibility. But as players, they will lean on their coach, and their coaches do have a lot of pull with them on the direction these kids are going to go in and what they're going to be in life. So, yeah, I mean, we want good people as coaches too, because having a good coach, a coach that sees the big picture, who has the direction and long term of what these kids can be, more than just a sports athlete.
Yeah.
Then that's going to be really big.
I could see you and I and Ryan having a completely different show other than Sunday night, because, I mean, how many times have I called you in the last 3 years of like, hey, this is where I'm at, with my own daughter.
Yeah. We've talked a lot. I mean, and that's good. We need to keep brainstorming. It betters me. It betters other people when you start talking about it and you kind of explore some ideas and some ways to. If you're going to better, you're impacting a lot of kids. You're coaching this 5th grade team. You'll coach them next year, and then they're going to go to junior high. So whatever you've instilled into them, that's going to carry their junior high for the rest of their life. So you are the foundation. You're the building block of the rest of their career.
And we all want to take them and we want to leave them better than we found them, right?
That's right.
I mean, we want to push them forward.
Indeed.
And not stun them, and there's a whole myriad of topics we could talk about in each individual player. So, man, this might be something I know you live a little bit further away from here than I do.
But all the time.
You've been a good friend of mine for many years, but your track record is what's impressive in that, and what you can add to this versus what I can, so.
I appreciate that.
I think we're going to call little B up here. I don't know if she's asleep over there or not, but.
She's wearing something anti-SBU or Mizzou. I'm going to probably take her out.
Did you see that the girls won the GLVC today?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Drury girls?
Yeah.
So we're going to do what our top 5 this week. We are way over, and guess what? It's my show. There's no show coming on past us. Like I said, I could talk to David for 3 hours.
Because we have probably several times.
We have. I mean, but we might do this in the future. I haven't talked to David about this, but maybe make a different kind of show where you and I can talk about, and Steven or Ryan can talk about different aspects of coaching and kids. So. Our top 5 tonight is current men's basketball teams for college.
Okay.
And we have Little B with us as always. I'm going to say my number 1 top 5.
Is it number 1 or are you starting with 5?
I'm sorry. I'm starting with 5, and I'm going to go from there. 5 may surprise you if you know me, but my number 5 is Alabama.
Oh.
You want these? Little B needs a headset, so she can know what she's talking. But my number 5 is Alabama. I'm not a huge fan of the SEC, but still I'm trying to be impartial. So my number 5 is Alabama.
Interesting. B?
Illinois.
Illinois?
Illinois
or Illinois? Is it Illinois or Illinois?
Is that with apostrophe S or what? I didn't know.
So she's got number 5, Illinois. Who do you got?
I have, and I had to throw. Well, I just want to say for the record, Oklahoma State is like 16-6, and Oklahoma is like 14-8 or something. And I'm not really sure how Oklahoma State got behind that in the record, but I digress. My number 5 is Mizzou, actually.
Nice.
So, and I gave them a little love here because I think that they're probably going to have a little run here. They had a great run. They were ranked early, had a little falling out injury, a little tailing off, but I think they're going to have a nice little run here.
And it's good to see Mizzou back. I mean,
It
to
is. They
us
get-
talking about them, especially even in the top 5.
Agree.
Who's your 4?
So my 4 is Wisconsin. I think they are one of the dangerous teams. We're talking about the tournament. I'm just thinking about going into the tournament.
Yeah, we're talking top 5 how they end this year, not how they are now.
Yeah, I think they're a very scary team to play. B?
Baylor.
That's
Baylor.
great.
Baylor's a good team.
You got Baylor at your 4? I'm going to agree with David and say I've got Wisconsin as my 4. I agree with you. I think coming on late, great stretch. I'm going to probably surprise people with my 3, and my number 3 is going to be Arkansas.
Yeah.
They've shown flashes of brilliance coming into this game or into the end of the season. So I think Arkansas is that team you could be like, they're in the Final Four pretty easy.
Yeah.
So I've got Arkansas at 3.
Oklahoma.
She's got Oklahoma. Whoa, hold up.
At 3?
She's actually thought about this because she's got Oklahoma at 3.
Are you feeling okay? At 3? All right, just checking. So I have my 3, Purdue. Purdue's going to have a nice little run. I think they're another very scary team going into this. I think they're probably going to have a nice little run at the end.
Who you got at 2?
My 2 spot, what did I put in here? Oh my gosh, my phone just died. That's a good one. Oh, so Gonzaga. So Gonzaga, I mean, we don't need to talk very long about this. They're undefeated. They've been undefeated over this. They're an amazing team. If you watch them play, they have all the weapons. They're going to make it into the round. I don't know how far they'll make it, honestly, but I think that they're going to be right there in the hunt. They have to be.
Who you got at 2?
Michigan.
You got to speak in here.
Michigan.
Michigan's good.
So she's got Michigan at 2. I've got Oklahoma at 2. And I'm probably being a lot more biased than my daughter is. I'm proud of you. Oklahoma has actually laid off a little bit in this final kind of month, but I think going back and getting healthy, I think Oklahoma's my 2. Number 1, I'm coming back at you with number 1. I think that's right. Are we on number 1?
Yeah,
Okay. Be. I've got Gonzaga. I hate to be Gonzaga's number 1 now, so that's why you're picking them. No, they've just really been that good.
They've been rolling. It's hard not to put them in the top 1 or 2. You have to.
So I've got them at number 1. David, who do you got at number 1?
Oh, she goes next.
She ends it with.
Oh, does she? Okay, so my number 1 is Iowa. They had a really good early season. They kind of tailed off a little bit, but man, they just beat Wisconsin, I think, today, didn't they? Maybe I think they did. They're a really tough team. They shoot it well. If they get hot, I think if they're playing well and if they move the ball well, I can't think of the big guy, whatever his name is, the big guy he's averaged like 24 points a game. They're going to be all the way to it. So.
Wow, were you born yet? Who you got? The final countdown, Little B at number 1. Who do you got? Who do you got?
Gonzaga.
Yeah, she's got Gonzaga. It is hard. I mean, it is really hard to pick against them.
It really is.
Especially with where they're at. You look at some of these other teams and we're like, man, they've shown brilliance here and there. Gonzaga, I think, has just been really good all year.
They're steady. I mean, you could put Villanova there. You could go. Through the list. Big East got several schools. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are just like every year. I mean, you could. We know some people are going to get knocked off. I just don't think Gonzaga. They have a pretty clear picture for for the first couple of games, probably.
Well, that's what makes March Madness March Madness.
Indeed, absolutely.
And I'm so excited, man. So I got an email 3 or 4 weeks ago that Oklahoma was opening up this year, 2021 to 25% capacity. I got an email today that they're considering full.
Oh.
Man, I can't help but feel like 2021 we're going to be back to full capacity, and we're going to blow all our money in games. College football, softball, college baseball, college basketball. So
there's worse things, I guess.
Yeah, we are going to. Brian says my number 1, Baker Mayfield. He picks Baker Mayfield. I agree with you, brother. Baker Mayfield is the best.
He can win the national championship, Ryan.
By himself.
Sure.
So, and I know you feel the same way because you get a lot of Mizzou and stuff. So, big shout out. I know we're way over, but this is our show. We can be. Big shout out to my friend David Cucci. Most people here locally know him. I was surprised in our last show. Like, David's the best. And I'm like, how do you, all these people are coming in saying, oh, David's so awesome.
I got him hoodwinked.
You got him hoodwinked. So,
Yeah.
no, we're going to have a lot more of David. You know, the chain gang's bigger than Ryan and I. So you may be here 1 week with Ryan and 5 other people. You may be here with me. Chain gang we're just trying to talk about sports, and that's what we love. So
It's a good conversation. It's good.
yeah, and we're having experts on, and I know you're going to laugh when I say expert, but I really do feel like you are an expert in this, and I trust you 100%.
I tell you what, I've spent a lot of time in youth sports, watching it, studying it, and I evaluate coaches and the game, and I'm one of these over-analysis type people too, that I'm analyzing it and analyzing it and reanalyzing it and just trying to pick it apart and trying to figure out something. So yeah.
If you want to have your kid go play college ball, we're going to have a whole different conversation with David, because it is possible, but you need to talk to David.
It starts young.
It starts young.
It's an attitude. It's your mental side.
Don't
ruin it.
Yeah, we're
the
going to
surprise.
have this whole other show.
Oh, right.
David
Okay.
Cucci and how to play.
All right.
Because you and I have talked about it in depth.
Sure,
So
sure.
I'm going to keep rambling, folks, because this guy's amazing. But hey, we're going to wrap it up real quick, and we want to thank our sponsors: Green Box Photography, Rogersville Chiropractic. Rogersville Furniture, Kaiser Chiropractic, Alicia's looking at me, Hometown Furniture.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm getting them all confused, but thank you guys so much for your contribution to the show. We will be back next Sunday live at 7 and talk all things sports. So,
Awesome. Thanks for
friend
having
David
me.
Cucci here. Glad to have you. John Pope, we'll be back next Sunday. You guys have a great weekend. Or a great week. Goodness gracious.